Eric Lopez here along Nick Porcelli here at the Addition Financial Arena on a historic night where UCF has knocked off number 3 Kansas 65-60. Nick, it's just unbelievable. Monster crowd. What do we have here? 94-69 or 59 there. One of the largest crowds ever.
69.
69. Second sold out crowd ever. And unbelievable court storming. And this Knights team found a way. They were down, I think, 16-18 at one point in the first half. It did not look good. Down 16, 35-19. But they made a run to get within 8 at halftime. And then the second half, they were tremendous. What was your thoughts?
I mean, we said it at halftime, like, it could be worse. They were keeping it close. And, we're kind of pessimists. We're like, this is fine. If they keep it close, it's fine. But then, like you said, the second half, I mean, everything changed. I was asking all the players in it during the press conference, which you can see on the Black and Gold Banneret YouTube page. Ding. Shout out Kyle. Things changed. In the first half, they were shooting 37%. UCF was. Second half, 47%. Meanwhile, Kansas was shooting 68%. They were shooting 31% in the second half. I mean, they just made adjustments, and it was a tale of two different teams. The team that came out in the second half, I mean, that looked like a team that could compete with any team in this conference, considering they just competed and almost out everything except for out rebound, which actually surprised me. It was like close, but they got out rebound. But still, they outdid the third best team in the country. And now in the last 24 hours, number 1, number 2, and now number 3 have all been upset.
All right, couple stats here for you. UCF won the free throw battle. 14 of 18 from the line for UCF, 6 of 11 for Kansas. That's huge. They won the three-point line. If you read my article before the Big 12 season started on blackandgoldbanneret.com, thank you, I gave you 4 things UCF must do to have a chance to win games in the Big 12, and one of them was win the three-point line. UCF 7 of 20, Kansas 6 of 18. That was big. The other factor, UCF 9 offensive rebounds. They were tremendous. They're getting second chance points. In fact, UCF had 15 second chance points, Kansas 12. That was tremendous. But let's talk about here, Nick, the big man himself, Ibrahim Diallo, 13 points, 5 boards, a block. He just altered shots, and they were going to him down the stretch there, got some big buckets.
Oh, my God. Like, I was saying, I'm going to be honest, I was nervous because, Kansas has a great big man down below, and I'm like, all right, let's see what he can do. And I'm like, oh my God, he's hitting shots. He's like, I'm gonna just say it. He was the better man down in the paint, and that I think is the key word. When we were talking to Kansas's coach, he said one statement.
Bill Self, by the way, Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. So 2-time NCAA champion, one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Top 10 in the sport.
You want to know what he said? They were the better team. Let that sink in, UCF fans. One of the greatest, most historic programs of all time, and they're looking at us, a newbie in the Big 12, and they're saying they were the better team. Like, how does that make you feel?
It's incredible. I can't believe this is happening. It's the biggest win in UCF basketball history.
I know.
It's the biggest win of the year. Sorry, UCF Oklahoma State football. You just got pushed aside.
You know what? I'm gonna change that. At least as far as the regular season goes, I'm willing to say that tonight we just saw the biggest win in UCF sports history, regardless of team.
Oh,
at least in terms of
regular season. Okay,
at least in terms of the regular season. Yeah, fair.
It's up there. It's up there. It's up there. They're going to kick us out soon, so we can't get into that in depth. But maybe in the pod down the road. But it's significant nonetheless. To your point, it's definitely the biggest in the basketball career. But let's talk about Darius Johnson. Jalen Sellers had a rough game in Manhattan, and I'm like, ooh, maybe the Big 12 is not, are they caliber enough? Boy, they responded big time tonight. Johnson, 17 points. 6 assists. Sellers had 18. But Johnson hit the big 3, I thought. Remember, Kansas made that run. They go up 53-52. He hit that 3 to go up 55-53. He had an answer. He hit those 2 big free throws to clinch the game. I think, to me, for UCF to have success, that backcourt has to be productive, and they weren't, and I give them credit.
Yeah. DJ was the momentum killer. Nothing else better to say because, again, we know how talented this Kansas team is. Every time I was watching, I think we were all kind of thinking, when they started to go on the run, oh boy, here we go, magic's done. Nope. Here comes Darius just killing the momentum with the threes, with the free throws. And when he hit those free throws, listen, we can talk about stats. Let's just talk about the emotion. That's when it hit in. It's, oh my God, we're going to do this. Students are suddenly starting to crowd. They're about to storm. And then suddenly The second that buzzer rings, I am going to remember this for the rest of my life. The sea of humanity rushing the court to the point I can't see any players, I can't see any coaches.
You got footage of that.
And I got footage of it. You will see it.
Bryson's got footage from his
It
section.
is the most incredible
got
sight I have ever seen in my life. I'm going to hold on to that forever. I'm trying to come up with more words for it, but I just can't because I'm at a loss. It's unbelievable. It's the greatest thing I think I've ever seen as a UCF sports fan.
It means a lot for people like Kevin Reese, who's sitting with us here. He's been watching UCF, covering UCF basketball, watching it since Torchy Clark days. Certainly one he's not going to forget anytime soon. And I think a lot of Knight fans, to your point, this is a night that everybody's going to remember that they were in the building forever. And I still can't believe it. This was your first court storming in person?
Yeah.
That's like my fourth. It's special, and I'm so happy for Coach Dawkins. How about the emotions from Johnny? I mean, Eric DeSalvo got it on social media
that
there.
Video.
But, I mean, it's just a passionate man. I'm so happy for them, hardworking. And I was struck by what Bill Self said, how UCF was lucky to have Johnny Dawkins there. Hello.
That's huge.
You know who you are out there. I hope you listen to that very clear. And
again, that's one of the greatest coaches of all time saying that about Johnny Dawkins.
I mean, it's credibility to the program. It's unbelievable win. And now, you know, you're 1-1. Now, welcome to life in the Big 12. You got another top 25 team coming up Saturday against BYU. But this has got to give everybody confidence moving forward, I got to believe.
Yeah, especially at home. I mean, again, I haven't seen the numbers. I think it's close to a sellout for the BYU game, but I know that a lot of fans are going to come here for this, and a lot of the other Big 12 teams. If we can get crowds close to what we got here tonight, this team's going to be able to compete. And this, like, you know, we know what the projections were at the start of the season. This team's going to be last. If we have more moments like that tonight, this is going to be a fun season to watch.
You brought up the stat here during the press conferences, so I'll read it out here. You mentioned it. Kansas shot 68% in the first half, 31% in the second half. UCF really, I mean, and they gave Kansas problems. Bill Self admitted that. The zone defense, you realize this, Kansas this year had only had 30 possessions this year where the opponent played zone against Kansas. And I think Dawkins and the staff knew that. In fact, you know, they asked Dawkins about that in the postgame. You could tell he paused for a moment because they saw that and they sprung that zone. And I think Kansas just didn't know what to do with it, with the matchups. And Bill Self acknowledged that. And the Knights did a great job getting hands on the ball, forcing the turnovers, just disrupting the rhythm and the strength in numbers, something that Coach Dawkins has talked about forever, going 10-11 deep. Overcame Kansas' best 5-6 guys.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas, if I'm going to be honest, they looked like they were panicking a little bit in that second half. I mean, you saw it, like, they were starting to get shot clock violations. They're making crazy passes that are going out of bounds. And I'm like, whoa, where's this been? And like you said, it was because of the kind of defense that UCF was playing. They were putting amazing pressure on them that made them panic. Like, they did their job tonight. They did what they needed to do. Everything that needed to go right for them went right.
A lot of different looks. What a night. Open first ever home game in the Big 12. And UCF knocks off number 3 Kansas. I still can't believe it, but Nick's going to write about it, and it's going to be on blackandgoldbanneret.com, so I encourage you to check that out. Also, all the coverage on YouTube, social media. We're going to have all the coverage from the building as people are just running around us. So they're going to close this building pretty soon. But what a magical night. One of the biggest landmark victories. You're right, not just UCF basketball, but in UCF athletics history. I'm not going to say number 1, that's a lot, but a special night that nobody will ever forget. Knights beat number 3 Kansas. I'm going to keep saying that because I still don't believe it. 65-60 for Bryson Turner, who's sitting patiently behind shooting this film of our night shift here. For Nick Porcelli, I'm Eric Lopez. Knights to remember. 65-60 win over Kansas. We'll have more on Night Shift, the podcast this week, and on blackandgoldbanneret.com, as well as on our YouTube page. Subscribe there now. Good night from Audition Financial Arena on this historic night.
Night fans, go party.